Hello and a very good morning to you. Welcome to the University of Education Winneba Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. This morning we want to continue with our weekly radio lecture series devoted to communication skills, and we are live on Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. We are also live on the website, that is Radio Windy Bay 98.3.FM. I'm ASARE, OKAE-ANTI, and I'm here with
KORKOR WASTON-NORTEY. Yeah, you didn't wish them a happy new year.
Yes, so I honestly, it's a very new thing to me. So
maybe for you to settle in,
yes,
let's thank Radio Windy Bay for the innovation.
Honestly,
I think
the
sweepiness of our feet.
I'm extremely confused
from
myself.
Communication skills to the team of Radio Windy Bay, this is very phenomenal. We thank you. In fact, we can really feel this is a new year. So thank you very much.
Yes.
And welcome to our level 100 students.
Exactly.
You'll be seeing most of us, in fact, the instructors of communication skills every Friday for the weekly radio lecture on communication skills. So this is going to be the introduction. We'll be dealing with academic discourse, and then wherever we stop, you continue in the classroom, and then you also ask questions that you do not get to ask here in the classroom. But every week, you would have the opportunity to listen to all your instructors on radio.
Excellent. So, by way of introduction, we want to remind them that this GPD 111,
communication
what
skills.
We call communication skills. So it's a 3-credit-hour course, and it's an introductory course for all level 100 students.
Yes.
The idea is that we want students to have that language and study skills that will enable them to survive in the academic environment they now find themselves in.
So if you're in level 100 and you do not see GPD 111 on your course, your timetable, your course schedules, you'll be taking it in the second semester. But for courses like the business schools, the sciences, that's chemistry, biology, and then we would have environmental science, agricultural science, among others, you'll be seeing GPD 111 on the timetable.
Yes,
so you stick to the schedule, and then you make time to see your instructors on the days that have been scheduled for you. Now, if you don't see it on your timetable, it means that you'll be taking it in the second semester. So for like courses, programs like political science, social studies, arts education, and then home economics, among others, you'll be taking yours in the second semester. So there's no worry at all.
Excellent. So the course will equip students with the mechanical skills needed for academic writing and reading. And like we are using right now, we are not application of technology towards this program. So we'll have our self-taught tutors meet, that's interaction, and we also have the video, audio, visual approach towards the teaching of the program. I'm not sure whether we'll use our V class this semester.
Really?
We'll use it.
We will.
We'll make use of the V
class.
class. So excellent.
At an appropriate time, they'll be giving the enrollment keys for them to
very good. Yes. All right. And then also the course, we assess them through quizzes, examinations, and group work. And then we seek to ensure that at the end of the day, all of them get the skills needed to survive in this academic environment.
I would like to advise and encourage all of you, please do not miss a lecture. Now, the lecture is part of your assessment. Radio lecture is also part of your assessment. Everything that will be given to you on the V class for you to do is also part of your assessment. Please do well not to miss any of these interactions, whether they are in person or virtual. And then as we go on, you can also call on Radio Windy Bay. That's if you have a question based on the lecture we are going to have this morning. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's just go to the business of today.
Excellent. So this morning, we want to introduce students to the concept of discourse, communities, and specifically the academic discourse. So there are two key words there. We have the word discourse, we have the word community. I think for community, we know that's basically a group of people. So that one, we are clear with that one when it comes to that. But when we talk about discourse, what comes to mind? So the idea is that you have speech, you have conversation, some way of communicating generally. So if you put the two words together, then clearly it's like a certain group of people, we use language specific to them to attain their goals, to fulfill their mission or vision. And therefore, because we find ourselves in the university, in a new environment, they'll notice that we are in a group, we are among a group of people. And the way we communicate, the way we speak, we converse, is unique to any other environment we find ourselves in. So this part is, or this community, is a discourse community, but specifically we say the academic discourse community.
So by way of that, we could also say that these things that make us distinct would have to do with the language. There are some values that we encourage here on campus. There are some, if you like, beliefs, or you can say rules. So they may have heard of registration. They may have heard of orientation. They may have heard of semester.
Very good.
These words are kind of new to most of them, and it's because of the community within which they find themselves.
Good. Yeah. So having established what that means, we're simply a group of people bounded by certain values, certain goals, and use language specific to them to attain those goals. One of the things that we learn when we are here is that there's always some scholar, some individual who's attributed to something that we learn. And for us in discourse communities, we always identify with John Swales. And Swales says that there are 6 characteristics that make up a discourse community. So let's look at a few of them and then explain them relating to our academic discourse community.
Sure. So he mentions that a discourse community must have common public goals.
Good.
Okay, so these goals, they are public. It means they are known. For instance, in UEW, there's a public goal, which even appears or is seen in the objective of the school. That's the aim of an objective of the school.
So our teaching, our learning, our research is something known to all of us. It's not a secret society
that
we find ourselves
so
in.
It is a common public goal. Okay, then we can also talk about members who exist in these discourse communities using some specific lexis. Just like I mentioned earlier, the use of semester, the use of registration, and all that, orientation. And then they subsequently, in the course of the weeks, they are going to hear of matriculation.
Very soon.
God willing, after 4 years, they will hear of congregation. So these words are unique within our community, right here in UEW and other universities as well. Now he also goes on to mention that within a discourse community, there can exist smaller discourse communities.
There are smaller
so I'm sure that as they registered in the school, they may have heard of some small discourse, like the clubs. Their departments have like ASOC, like COMSA.
Very good.
Okay, I know Hypers also has one thing, Hypersa or something. So these are also small discourse communities that also has its own public goals and other things. Now within this discourse communities also, Swales mentions that there are people with certain level of expertise. So they may have heard of VC, that's the Vice Chancellor. They may have heard of the deans, heads of departments, faculty officers, faculty examination officers, among some positions, even including SRC presidents. All of them have levels. Now, within the level of the students, they'll know that they have seniors. Just that we don't say seniors here. We say level 400, 300, 200, 100. And then there's level 800.
There is level 800, there's level 900. That is true.
So these are all levels of expertise.
That they all have. And of course, for the lecturers side, the experts are the professors.
The professors.
They are the professors. Okay. So there are others when we meet face to face, we'll discuss them. But at least we know, firstly, the idea of the broad common goals. It is known by everybody what that discourse community stands for. The idea of a terminology that is specific to that community. So once, for instance, I go to the bank. And I say, I'm here to apply for an overdraft. Clearly, the people in the bank are excited.
It is a term
that I'm using in the bank. But we're awkward to go there and say, I want my patient's folder.
What happened in court.
Very good.
When the clerk mentioned order in court, and somebody said jollof rice and cook. It doesn't really. That is what
the order.
Yeah, that's the order. But when you say order in court, it means you have to compose yourself.
It reminds me of what somebody says. my laptop, you know, they work. Oh, then boot up, man. And the person to boot up.
Export it.
Export it. They said, no, I meant turn it off and turn it on.
Yeah.
So it's important to
it means language can be used, but they have to be used for the specific reasons for which they'll make meaning to the listener.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing about the academic discourse community is the idea that in the discourse community, we're engaged in writing. And one of the forms of writing that we in that community will be engaged in, especially the students, is the academic essay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the academic essay. Let's look at the fictional essay and then see why the students need to know the differences.
Okay. So for instance, you are in an academic discourse community, just
Very
like
good.
you established. So
Good.
it means that every form of interaction must be academic.
Very
Now
good.
note that, so that when you are given an assignment to write maybe a 2-page essay, you don't just write off memory. You have to consult sources.
Very good. Very
Academic writing is primarily based on theories
Very good.
and academic topics.
Very
so
good.
if you are asked to interrogate a certain topic, you consult sources and then you use theories to analyze whatever you've been given.
Very good.
You can't conjure it.
No,
now,
no.
when you pick out these things too, you have to acknowledge your sources.
Very good.
So that you don't get caught in plagiarism.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, I mean, you've even led us to the characteristics that we'll look at very soon. So if you negate it, you realize that those days when we were in school,
Yeah.
and they said write an essay on how you spend the vacation, or write an essay on, normally they will say, that ends with ... and I woke up and it was all just a dream. You realize that the more you lied, the more creative you were, the more absurd
Yes.
the examples you give, the more marks you were given.
Yes.
So unlike, like you said, academic, which is supposed to be more scholarly, factual, verifiable information,
Yeah.
what we were writing there, the fictional essay, is just creativity and
Based on
imagination.
imagination.
Very good. So here we only write, or we are encouraged to write the academic essay.
Unless otherwise
Stated. Very good. So let's look at a few characteristics of
Yeah.
them. From what you said, I see one thing clear.
Okay.
The idea of the defined structure. Every essay, which is academic in nature, has a defined structure.
Yeah.
And there's a 3-part structure
Yeah.
that is normally established.
Yeah.
You have your intro,
Yeah.
or your introduction.
Yeah.
You have your middle, some will say the body, and then you have your end or conclusion.
Yes.
And it's very important that we have that structure. And we normally tell them that when you are writing, you don't write introduction and you underline. No. You arrange
The
them according to
arrangements
them
will
to
tell.
paragraphs. Very good. What other characteristics do we have?
So when you look at the fictional essay, just like you established, it's based on imagination.
Very good.
And you would end up earning more marks when you become flowery. So they use flowery language,
They
creative
do.
language.
They do.
You do not need any form of support when it comes to fiction.
No.
But with academic essay, you need a support. I mean, you
Yes.
need the evidence. That's why when you consult sources, as I mentioned, you acknowledge the source that I took this one from ASARE 2023. Okay, so we know that this is where you picked your source. Now you have to be objective.
Yes.
It
You're
shouldn't
right,
be
yes.
just your opinion. It shouldn't be subjective, but it should be everybody, when they consult the same source, must agree that what you have in your work is the same.
Exactly.
But with fictional essay, they are flamboyant.
Oh, they are
Yeah,
flamboyant.
very flamboyant.
Flowery language,
It gets you
creative
thinking, hey, do these things exist? That's fictional.
You've not been to the airport, but you went to the airport to pick the plane and you went on holidays.
Maybe you saw it on TV.
Then also the idea of the tone of language is formal.
Yes.
Any essay we write, the tone is formal. And the formality here is that we avoid the contractions.
Yeah.
We avoid the cliches and the slangs and those sloganeering in it. Now, another also, like you said, is the voice that you use in the essay.
Yes.
You recall in English we have 2 voices.
Yes.
The active and then the passive. Good.
Yes.
So here we say the preference is for the passive.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because, you know, you've done your research, you have done reporting on it. So that voice, that past, is what you would also use to make. And also the idea is that you then emphasize more on the subject and the research,
Yes.
and not your person.
Yeah, you stay back.
You stay back. You avoid the eyes
Yeah.
and the so the passive voice is always very, very important.
And if you're asking about the passive voice, we'll talk more about that at lecture. But
Yes,
for
please.
instance, instead of saying we collected data, you would rather say you talk to the situation.
Yes,
Data
was collected
yes.
by the
So you
experts or
stay
the team.
out of the narration.
Exactly.
You are hardly heard.
Exactly.
But your voice would also be known.
Exactly.
So as we said earlier, you can ask questions, you can comment on Facebook your questions, and we would respond to them accordingly.
What's the
All
time
right.
check?
I think the time is 4 minutes past 7.
Okay, so 7
Yes.
minutes past 4.
No,
4 minutes past 7. 4
yes.
minutes past 7. This is Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Thank you for joining us. If you just joined us, we have begun our weekly radio lecture series devoted to communication skills. And this morning we are looking at academic discourse. We've already established what a discourse community is, and we've also looked at what we call the academic discourse community specifically, and the characteristics that make up the academic discourse. We've looked at what we call the academic essay as opposed to the fictional essay, and we've established that when it comes to the academic essay, we are using verifiable factual information as opposed to the imaginary and creative devices that we often employ when we are writing our fictional essays. Now, we want to look at other forms of academic writing that the students will be engaged in. And this is because, aside the essay, there are other forms of writing that are available. All right. So let's look
So
at
the
a
first,
few
which
of
is
them.
going to be the basic,
Yes, please.
is that when you go for lecture in their teaching, you should be taking notes. And that's the basic.
That is the basic.
Everybody has a unique way of taking their notes.
You do.
But one thing I always advise is that if you decide to use shorthand, make sure your angels are with you.
Yes.
So that if you shorten something and you go back to revise, you'd remember that this is what you wrote.
Exactly.
So for me, I am an advocate of writing full, regardless of the potholes that you are going to have in your notes. Just write in full. Otherwise, have a standardized shorthand,
Yes,
so
please.
that you would remember. But the first of the forms of academic writing that they'll be using is the note
the notes.
taking. Now, we would also direct you on some basics on how to take
In the
notes
notes when we
in
meet
class.
yes. So, and then the notes is just the salient points. You're not there to write everything verbatim.
Yeah, you know, during lecture,
Yes.
the lecturer may pass a joke or something. You
Yeah,
don't need to write
you don't
that.
need to write that. I
You
get
need
it.
the
salient-
content of
what,
the lecture.
What you are doing.
Yeah.
Yes, please, go. Then we have something we call the academic report. And you know, sometimes you are engaged in the research, and then you need to present the findings, as it were. That document is the academic report.
Yeah.
And so we also engage in the academic
So
reports.
for students who normally go on field works,
Very good.
when you return,
That is it.
the essay or the write-up you give is what we call the
academic
academic report.
And for them, that structure, even though it's also a 3-part structure, there's certain sub-elements in them. So you have your introduction, you may review some literature, then you give us the methodology approach that you took, what you found at the results, and then you have some conclusion there. Okay. Then, of course, academic essay, which we talked about, that one, the standard thing that the students will be writing.
Yes.
So the lecturer will come, give you a topic, you write on it, consult your sources, and then you produce it. Then you hear dissertation
And
and
thesis.
thesis. And this thing continues to swerve me, so I'm going to read and be very careful
I
with
know,
it.
right? But before he reads,
Yes.
anyone who knows the difference between dissertation and thesis,
Good.
comment in the
Comment the section for
on
us.
Facebook.
Yes,
Just comment
please.
and
Let's see whether
you know the
yes.
difference between dissertation and thesis.
And then the
Okay.
thesis. Very good.
Yeah,
Very
and come for your toffee later from
Very
Mr. OKAE-ANTI.
Very good.
So
That's
Should
good.
we
So
leave it
let's
to
leave
them?
let's leave that
Great.
one. I love that. Then sometimes some will say, I've written a paper, I've written an academic paper. All forms of writing, whether it's a presentation, a conference, contribution, the journal article, generally they will say it's the academic paper. But then we have the journal article also. And that one is what we, the lecturers, are engaged in.
for
The scholars for
promotion
promotion
purposes.
purposes, to produce new knowledge. We call it a journal
you know,
article.
administrative officers also write.
Oh, they
the
do,
senior
they do,
members,
they do.
also write.
They also do.
journals.
They also do. So if you hear of notes, you hear of reports, you hear of your essay, the dissertation thesis, academic paper, journal article, these are all other forms of academic writing. Now, let's take our time and go through the formats of academic writing.
Sure.
Already we established that all things being equal, every form of academic writing has a defined structure. You have what we call your intro, your body, and then your conclusion.
Yes.
But even though that one's for the essay, each of the other forms also have some small
have their
varieties.
own
Yes,
charms,
please.
yes.
So let's look at that very well.
Okay.
So the general principle is that the intro, body, conclusion format is there for all.
Yeah.
However, depending on
What
the
you are
writing, you have a hand. So if you look, for instance, at the journal article, for instance, the journal article, you have your introduction. Then there's something they call the literature review. So the literature review is a summary of all the sorts of work that you have consulted,
Which are related
which
to
are
your
related
topic.
very good, and which allow you to establish that gap with which you are now proposing to also investigate. Then some will talk about the methodology section. So there's methodology, and from the word methodology, how did you undertake this research, the project? And therefore, in terms of the instruments you use, how you collected the data, how you analyze the data, they are all found in the methodology section. Then you have findings. And I remember last semester or last 2 semesters, there was a question that the outcome of your research is located, then they wrote in the abstract, in the this, in the this, in the that. Then people were writing abstract.
I think it's the way the word sounds. Maybe they like the pronunciation.
Yeah. But you see, the outcome of something, you have found something. So invariably to be the findings.
Yeah.
To be in the findings. So there's a findings section where you tell us what you found in your research.
So you know these things are really basic when it comes to your journals, but it depends on the journal in which you are publishing your work. They would also come up with their own
house style.
requirements
That
that
is
you are
very true.
you're going to use. Then you can also talk about the appendices.
Appendices, very good.
But the most important, before we get to the appendices, would be the references.
We have to get the references.
And you have to remember that once you have reviewed literature, it means you would have to acknowledge it and state it in your references.
Very good.
And then the appendices would be maybe the tools you use to collect your data.
Exactly.
If you use questions,
the interview schedule,
so
some map work,
you would
or
have a
something
sample of that as your
included
appendix. Maybe you have some tables or something. They would also form part.
In some cases, the
your
transcription
appendix.
you did,
Yes.
for them to be sure you really
Yes.
did it and just didn't write anything,
Yes.
must also be provided.
Exactly.
If you did the content analysis, your coding,
Yes,
and all of that must be provided. Okay, so at least we didn't talk about abstract.
The abstract.
We should talk about abstract.
Yeah.
In academic writing, one of the key things you see is an abstract.
Yeah.
Because that one summarizes the entire work.
Yeah.
So I remember using the word summarize the entire work for that. And summarizing the articles or journals, or sources you consulted. We asked what's the difference between that and literary review. For the abstract, the entire work is summarized.
Yeah.
The literary review, it is just the summary of the key sources that you have used. You synthesize them and then find your gap or whatever. So even though it's summary, one is the entire work, one is just the source of material that you have used for your work. In some books too, you may see acknowledgement.
Yes.
And I think this
That's
one
if it's
speaks.
a project.
Yes, especially the academic report where you acknowledge your funders, and what have you.
Maybe
other
team members. If it's a joint project.
Yes. I think list of tables, list of content, they speak for themselves.
Yes.
So that is not a problem. But these are words that we always come across when we engage in any form of academic writing. Okay. All right. So
So we would like to take some. We have some few comments on Facebook.
Okay.
And I don't know whether we can take calls. Can we take calls? Let's know whether we can take. Okay, so we can take your calls. So we can read comments now.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take some of your comments for now. You know what I'm thinking about right now. We started seeing the names again.
Yes. So
Asanda Frost. Asanda Frost, where can we get the book? We'll talk about it when we meet in class. Sechofia. And then Abigail Sewa, please. Oh.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between academic writing and academic essay?
Yes.
One is broad and one is specific.
Exactly.
Are we supposed to scroll it? Or you'll be doing it for us? Okay. So, academic essay. Did I say friction?
I'll say straight to the point. Can move up, yes.
Okay,
please.
let's move up. Now, maybe if you comment, you can tell us your department, and then we know where the comment is coming from. We'll see our students who are online. So Evans says, one of the characteristics of discourse community is acquire some level of lexis according to the presentation. So there's a question here. Let's see the question. Okay. What might account for people in the same community to have misinformation or distortion of information?
Yeah, so in fact, when we move to communication, they will definitely see.
So there's a topic we'll be treating on communication. When you get there, you see the reason for which sometimes information is not the same as it should be for everyone. Okay, Aristo says, dissertation is a piece of work done for award, whilst thesis is a piece of work done for master's degree.
Okay.
Master's degree is also an award, right?
Yeah, so probably the specific award, if he brings that one, he'll get it correct. Yes.
Okay, so let's see which one is for PhD, which one is for
the masters.
Okay,
Wonderful.
that's the clue. One is for PhD, one is for masters. But you know the use is also
it could also, yes, please, yes.
Millicent, academic essay is straight, fiction requires thinking. Millicent, please.
Let's look at it again, Millicent.
Millicent, please come again.
Yeah, look at
Thank
it
you
again.
for the comment, but please come again.
And let the spelling of
And
academic
then please check the spelling of academic and fiction.
Yes.
Okay. Atisco, I told you they've come again.
Yes.
Please, with fictional essay, can you explain further?
Yeah, I think with what we're trying to say with the fictional essay is that, you know, all those essays we used to write when we were in secondary school, those with the creative, those with the imaginative, those with, I wouldn't say no structure per se, but, you know, the free flow, freestyle sort of.
A journey I made.
A journey you made.
You know, you made that journey.
Yes.
So you can decide to add certain, if nobody can ask you, are you sure? So it's based on, maybe you didn't even go anywhere.
Exactly.
But you're just trying to be creative.
Yes, please. So that's about the fictional essay.
Ajua Mimi. Oh, okay. Your comment is gone. Sorry. Bye. She says she's from biology department. Cash money. Babna.
Yes.
Cash money is also gone. Okay. Please come down a little bit. Godfred Nyako.
Would the video?
Will the video be recorded? I couldn't join early.
Okay.
Please, you just go on Facebook.
You definitely get
it. Is still there. Then you can replay.
Yeah, you can
replay, right? It's on Facebook. You
Maybe
can also
Zoom.
join on Zoom. I think the link is on Zoom, so you can join on Zoom. But he says he didn't join early, so you can go back and then play it all over again.
Please, is this radio lecture for this course on every Friday? Yes, please. So we've said every Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. we'll have the radio lecture.
Okay.
Is it advisable to use short?
What? And he's a Japanese.
Yes.
Is it advisable to use shorthand to take notes? We mentioned, right?
We did, yes. I mean, once you are comfortable with your shorthand, you know, some colleagues write between, BN. Some do BTN. Some do B slash
something.
BBWN.
Some people do B slash. That was what I was saying.
Exactly.
That you'd have to be ready to remember what you are using as. back, and we apologize for the technical hitch. So we are back. And you can call us and talk to us direct on 050-392-3158. Okay, you can also send SMS, or you can comment on Facebook. And we have a comment from Fisker. What do you think about his comment?
Yeah, so fiscal, we had asked that they tell us the difference between the dissertation and then the, what do you call it, thesis. And she's giving us a clear that for the dissertation, the PhD, and then the master's is the thesis is the master's degree.
Yeah, so he's on point.
She's on point.
She is on point. The number again, 050-392-3158. Jerry Akume is congratulating Radio Windy Bay for the good job. Thank you very much, Jerry. And then, I think we read this.
Yes, it's cool. We did.
We have a call on the line.
Oh, wonderful. Hello, good morning, caller.
Hello.
Yes, please. Good morning, caller. Your name and department, please. Yes.
Please, I would like to ask that in literature review.
Yes, please.
If yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you too. Yes.
If you have not stated your references, I mean, acknowledge wherever you have gotten the information from, is there any punishment for the work you have done or something of that sort? I'm Bright Aklaku, Physical Education Department.
Thank you, Bright, for your question. But technically, it wouldn't be a literature review. Have you seen? Once I not even.
You get the literature in the
yes, please. Where do you get the material from? The essence of it is that you are using sources, and those sources must be acknowledged. So invariably, if it's not done, it's just a normal piece of writing. So the sources must be acknowledged within the work, and later on we'll tell you about the reference which we talked about that comes at the end. So yes, in your literature review, you have to indicate your sources. Thank you.
It's just like taking something that doesn't belong to you.
Okay.
You know it doesn't belong to you, right?
So it's definitely not for you.
So Bright. Yeah. The number again is 050-392-3158. 050-392-3158. This is Colin Sansa from Faculty of Social Sciences. History, education. I think we answered this question.
Yes, please. Academic rights.
Yes. Herbert ASARE from history. Please, I think these people joined quietly.
Yes, he did. Yes. So there's a broader,
we have
term,
a broader term,
and then the specifics are the essays, reports, and whatever.
Laurentia Olivia Enin, procurement and supply chain man. Can we please use short words when we are writing fictional? Laurentia, the word is fiction. Fictional essay. Yes, you can, but make sure you remember whatever you are using as your shorthand.
Exactly.
So you can. Yes. Okay. Eric Danso, Department of Biology. Please, can you brief me about the summary? We have a call on the line.
Yes, please. Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and department, please.
Pardon?
Your name and department, please.
Integrated Science, Bernard.
Bernard, thank you. All right, your question, please.
Question, please. But also for academic discourse community, like I wasn't well cleared over there, so can you briefly talk about it a little more?
Okay, but you followed the concept of community. Did you follow the concept of community?
Pardon?
Did you follow the concept community? The meaning of community?
Yeah.
And you follow the concept of discourse?
Yeah, the characteristics of the academic discourse.
No. Let's follow. You understand community? Hello. Okay, so that's Ben, right?
Yes.
Ben from Integrated Science. Yes, he wanted to know the academic discourse.
Yes.
You see, what we said is that we have the term discourse community. Then we've just qualified with the word academic by it. You can have the hospital discourse community. You can have the law discourse community. So if you have a group of people who have a certain goal, certain values, and use language specific to them to attain those goals, then the discourse communities arise. So if it's academic discourse, then that group are people within an academic environment who use language that is specific to them to attain their academic goals. Aha. I hope you are following the argument. Okay, guys.
The number again is 0503-923158. Please, when you call, kindly put off your set or move away from the set. If you try to hear yourself on radio, it gives us distraction at the studio. So please, when you call, just move away from your set or lower the volume on your set. Then we can hear you and then you can in turn also hear us. Foster Opoku, please, you would get the outlines when you meet with your instructor. Yes. They'll give you the course outline so you would know the topics you are treating this semester, okay? Then please, I thought it is something complex. There's a call on the line.
Yes, please. A very good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Name and department, please.
This is KORKOR.
Yes, please. Please go ahead with your question.
Please, I'd like to know, you have academic discourse community as
Yes.
a type. Now, do you have other types of discourse community or it belongs to only the learned people?
No. We are saying there are discourse communities and also, but because you are here in the university, it's only fair you learn the academic discourse community. Is that not so?
Okay.
You know, the lawyers are also a group of people. Is that not it? Hello?
Hello.
You know the community of lawyers?
Okay.
They are a group of people, are they not?
All right.
Do they have their own goals?
They have their own goals, sir.
And they use language specific to them, is that not it?
Yes.
Good. So that legal group, that bar association is a discourse community, but specifically a legal discourse community. I hope you follow.
Okay.
You can have the doctors, medical discourse. I hope you follow the argument.
Yes.
Yeah, but doesn't make sense for us to learn that one. We need to learn what we need to know, and that is what one? The academic discourse community. Hope you follow.
Okay. Okay.
So you need to know about lecturers. You need to know about semester. You need to know about course outline. You need to know about courses. Drop and add a course. These are terms that you must be familiar with. Because the next 4 years, these are terms you'll be using.
Yeah, okay.
Very good.
Hello?
Thank you too, sir.
So, for instance, we can establish the fact that those of them who are Christians,
Hello?
there are words that you use at church that you cannot use somewhere else.
Exactly. So the
Okay, so
church
for instance, when they mention tithe, you know it's for
Apologies.
church.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please. Good morning to you.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Good morning. We can hear you clearly.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name and department, please.
This I'm Bright from HR department.
Okay, Bright.
Dissertation is a detailed academic document submitted for a doctoral degree at PhD. And a thesis is typically a long academic paper for a master's degree.
Okay.
We are extremely grateful. So dissertations for PhD, and then the master's is the thesis. Extremely grateful, sir. Bright. Thank you.
Okay.
So I
Thank
was
you.
saying that they can also compare the idea that language that is used at church cannot
Yes.
be used as a mosque.
Very true.
Okay, so we
Yes.
have the mosque, they have the 5 or is it the whatever
Yes, please, the
pillars
pillars of
of
prayer, yes,
Islam.
yes.
And then Christians also have other religions may have their own. But you can talk about the priest, but you talk about imam at the mosque. When you go to the restaurant, you don't say that, can I see your prescription?
No.
You ask for what?
The menu.
So these are language for specific purposes.
Yes.
And for us here in the academic environment, there are some words that we use.
Exactly.
And semester is one, course outline is one, course rep is one, lecturer is another,
Exactly.
vice chancellor is one, Pro VC is one, congregation. So these are the things that we are talking about. These are language for the purpose of where you find yourself. This is not a show, Aristo. This is a lecture. Let I enjoy the show. Obeying Emmanuel from history. Please, what is the difference between academic writing and... we have a question on Zoom.
Okay.
Let's hear you on Zoom. Okay.
Yes, please. Name and department.
Unmute and talk, please. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Please unmute and talk.
Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Hello?
I think we have a connection problem. Yes, students on Zoom, we are waiting for your question. Okay, I think he has a problem with his connection. All right, someone has replied, Mary, for us. Mary, don't call English education, thank you. From Maths department, please, I want to know if we are always to turn in same day, same time. No, everybody has a scheduled day for your lectures. I'm sure it will be on your timetable, please. Okay. Maths, I think, is on Wednesday, right? Please consult your exam officers. You have a schedule for lecture. That's from the students from Maths department. Okay, academic essay uses formal language, but fictional essay uses creative. Excellent, and it's appear bad. That's a good one. Welbeck from English wanted to know, go over again with character. I think Mr. OKAE-ANTI did that, okay? And you have another session when you meet in class. I think we've talked about this several times.
The word is essay. I don't know why every
it's
year.
Not easy.
It's not easy.
Okay, so you have essay. We have a caller on the line. It's going to be our last caller for the day. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Please move away from your set. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, your name and your department, please.
I want to find out if you can repeat the definition of the academic discourse community. Thank you, department. Thank you.
Abna?
He says he wants the definition
Of academic discourse community.
Oh, okay. When we talk about a community, what is a community?
A community, that's a group of people.
Hello, sir.
living.
What's
I
a
think
community?
He's gone.
He's gone, okay. So, students, let's put the words together and then we'll coin something out. You have community, basically a group of people, units of people, some collection of people. Then we've established a discourse. We are saying there is some speech, some conversation, some writing, generally some communicative event that we say is peculiar to that group. So once we are in the academic environment, the teaching and learning research environment, that is, therefore, the group of people who have that academic goals and use that language specific to them to attain those goals. And the university is an example of an academic discourse community. And yes, that is not the only form of discourse communities. There are many, many other forms of discourse communities. Okay.
Okay. Abe, please. We mentioned earlier that we'll be meeting in class and then the radio lecture is on Friday. It's just an hour.
Yes.
But you'll be meeting in class with your various instructors. So please, the lecture is not on radio, and that's to Polaris Abbey. You would meet in class with your instructors. And then on Friday, you join the radio lecture as well, which is part of your lecture. So don't
Yes.
miss any of them, both in
complement
person,
the-
yes, in person and then on radio. And then there will be assignments on the V class as well.
Yes.
All instructors will notify you when it's time for you to be on the V class to take assignments and all that. Okay, so the lecture is not only on radio. Okay. Okay. So by way of summary, I think.
Yeah. So, by way of summary, we want to remind our students this morning that as part of our radio lecture series in communication skills, the premise of the course is to establish some grounding, some skills, some ability for the student to survive in this environment, which is the academic discourse community. And communication skills is that very course that does that. We began with the concept of discourse community and simply saying that there are groups of people who have goals and use language that is specific to them to attain those goals. We identify Swales as an individual who's credited with this concept, and he has come out with a number of characteristics. We look at one as having a common public goal, another as a specific lexis, and then another as the members in the community have varying levels of expertise in that community. Then we took our time and also established that in the academic discourse environment we find ourselves in, we are engaged in what we call academic writing. But academic writing is a broad term. There are many of them. We, as students especially, engage in the one we call the academic essay. And that academic essay we've established is writing that involves the use of sources that are verifiable, truthful, factual. And then you put them into a cogent piece of work. And then we also established that there are certain characteristics that make this form of writing academic in nature. The idea that in academic writing, all the writing has a defined structure. It follows a structure. You have your introduction, you have your body, and then you have your conclusion. And then we said in the writing, you make sure that you avoid cliches, you avoid your contractions, you avoid your slogans, because the tone of writing must be formal. Then we talked about the use of the passive voice. And it's preferred because then you stress more on the object, the subject, the object, which is your writing. And you avoid and then, as it were, excuse yourself from the work. Then we said that form of writing is different from what we call fictional writing, which was a form of writing we used to do when we were in secondary school. So, the journey I made, my favorite food. Your favorite food could be pizza. You've not even eaten pizza before. But the way you describe it, how it is made, the various toppings on it, people are like, wow, yet you've not even eaten some before. All these creative things may or may not be true. And that is the fictional essay that we are talking about. Then we look at other forms of writing that you are likely to come across. For us, when we are getting to third year, final year, we will engage in what we call the long essay or project work. So you do an independent research under the supervision of your supervisor, and you submit it to your department as contribution that you have also made to knowledge. We as lecturers, we engage in scholarly writing in the form of journal articles, and they are published in what we call journals. You hear of higher research degrees, the master's and the PhD, and now we've been through the PhD dissertation, the master's thesis. Of course, it's not cast in stone, because some schools use it the other way, interchangeably. So we set the ball rolling. Within the week, you meet your course instructors, and they also take you through. This radio lecture is a supplement to what we do. And so every Friday, 6:30 to 7:30 a.m., join us on Radio Windy Bay 98.3.
Please note, all the questions that were unable to be answered here would be dealt with in class. So apologies to, we have quite a lot of questions in the comment section. So apologies if your questions were not answered. Please keep them when you meet your instructors in class, in the course of the week, they'll deal with it for you. But this is also to help you to know what is going to be done or what has been done as a refresher something over the week, anytime you meet in class, every time. Please do all also to be in class, okay, and be on time, do assignments and all that. Anything with respect to materials, course outline and everything will be given to you by your instructors when you meet them in class this week. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the questions, the comments, and all the reactions that you gave during the lecture. And thank you for joining, for coming in to be our guest. We are grateful. Yeah, and we wish you a fruitful semester. Okay, enjoy your stay in UEW. Have a pleasant weekend. Bye.